Thanks everyone for joining us today. We are going over Smart Banner Playbook, Thrive Causemetics success story. This is the second part of our Smart Banner webinar series. The first part is available on our website in the webinar section if you'd like to go back and watch it. Before we begin today's webinar, I wanted to go over some details and share some features with you, and then I'll be happy to throw it over to my other hosts here. All right, this is part of a series that we do here at Zembula that's typically held on the third Thursday of every month. And next month, we hope you'll join us on April 21st at 10 a.m. for our next webinar, How to Expand the Life of Your Abandoned Cart Messages. I'll share a link for that at the end, so you can join if you'd like. And we will have time for Q&A at the end of today's webinar. If you would like to submit a question during the webinar, go ahead and hit the Q&A button at the bottom. If you have a question that you want answered in real time or want to chat with the hosts or attendees, you can go ahead and hit the chat button at the bottom. And finally, I will send a PDF and recording of the webinar slides out on Monday, so you can reference this or share it with your colleagues if you'd like. And with that, I'd like to introduce Gary and Carly. Off to you.
Thanks, Cheyenne. Well, hello, everybody. It's nice to be together once more. My name is Garen Hobbs. I'm the SVP of Customer Success and Strategy here at Zembula. Today, it's March 17th. Spring is just a few days away. Renewal is everywhere. Beauty is in the air. And nothing would be more appropriate than to be joined by my friend and colleague here at one of the hottest beauty brands, probably the hottest beauty brand, Thrive Causemetics. Carly, can you introduce yourself to our audience today?
Yeah, hi, I am Carly, the CRM manager at Thrive Causemetics. So I oversee our email, SMS, and loyalty programs, and I've been at the company for a little over 5 years now.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Carly. We couldn't be more thankful to have you here, and I know our audience is excited to hear some of your shared thoughts and perspectives here. So as Cheyenne mentioned, today's a continuation of our introduction to Smart Banners that we did back in February. In part one of the webinar, we introduced you to the Smart Banner, what it is, how it works, how to use it to best effect, and most importantly, what to expect in terms of results. So just to refresh that briefly, our Smart Banner is a dynamic banner that programmatically selects and serves dozens or even hundreds of different use cases and content experiences to each individual in your audience as determined by our campaign decision engine. This happens in milliseconds at the moment of open or reopen of the message across millions of recipients. And it's all driven from a single one-by-one pixel, a single code snippet that you drop into all of your email templates. And you don't have to stack pixels to serve these different use cases, and you don't have to do any hand coding to go back and change out that content. So that was a very high level. I understand you can certainly go back and watch last month's webinar, but from a very high level, again, that's what it is and how it works. But what can it do for brands? That's what we're going to be really digging into today. A lot of the benefits to which a lot of the benefits can be subjective to which of the banners you're running and how you're prioritizing them. But some of the most common impacts we see are the ability to leverage effective personalization more easily and most importantly, more frequently, right? The customer expectation for personalization is constant. So we should be in a position where we can deliver that constantly. Additionally, things like offers and content, these don't have to be things that are frozen in moments of time, right, at that time of send. Smart banners allow marketers to edit content or swap out offers and CTAs in emails and other messages after they've been sent or even after they might have been opened. And then lastly, and probably most importantly to your own goals, customers using at least 6 different smart banners in all of their promotional emails are seeing consistent and sustainable revenue performance increases of between 10 and 17%. So pretty heady numbers there. I've been in this industry for a long time, well over 20 years as the gray hair will attest here. And I've heard no end of, fantastic ROI and performance claims from solution providers. So rather than ask you all to simply open up your box of faith and take our word for it, yeah, that was a South Park reference. We've invited Carly here to share her own experiences with smart banners. So in case there might be 1 or 2 people in the world who haven't yet heard of the, again, hottest brand in beauty, Carly, can you tell us a little bit about Thrive and your mission?
Yeah, so Thrive Causemetics is a beauty brand and philosophy that goes beyond skin deep by empowering women. And we do this through our bigger than beauty giving mission. So for every product you purchase, we donate to help a woman thrive. We partner with nonprofit organizations from across the country that are focused on helping women thrive while they are going through situations like fighting cancer, surviving domestic abuse, emerging from homelessness, or adjusting to life outside the uniform. We also create high performance beauty focused on proven ingredients, and all of our products are vegan, cruelty free, and formulated without parabens or sulfates.
I love that you describe this as a philosophy, right? I mean, truly Thrive is a brand that's much bigger than its products. And, the enthusiasm of your audience certainly reflects that. Carly, Thrive has a, well, thriving, email program, sending at least once per day to a incredibly engaged audience. What are some of the goals and challenges for you and your team in keeping your customer base so passionate about Thrive?
Our first priority is our customer, and our customers are really a part of our giving mission and our product development process. So from selecting shades to testing formulas, our customer's voice is heard in every single step. And our customer experience team is our largest team. We actually respond to every single Facebook comment and Instagram DM. And through our email program, we really wanted to create a more personalized experience for every one of our customers so they really feel like they are a part of this process.
So that's incredible insight. And I love that customer forward, right? Just putting them at the center of the experience, at the center of the narrative. As a lifelong strategist, thank you for that. Bringing that meaningful personalization to every touch would be a lot to carry for any team, but especially for a small but mighty team such as yours. I know you had quite a bit of choice in selecting a personalization partner. So I'd be curious to hear what were some of the things that led you to work with us here at Zembula.
We chose Zembula as our partner because you offered better personalized experiences across the board from what we had seen before. Of course, an easy to use interface and better self-service capabilities. So my team and I can actually go into the platform and design campaigns ourselves. And then partnership and level of service for products that we can't design ourselves. So implementation and speed to market and the quick turnaround time of 10 days for a lot of our product builds. And the really big thing that sold us was the smart banner. And we had previously tried to accomplish this on our own, but it was clunky and a line of code for every single banner, whereas smart banners are one line of code that my team can easily copy into every single email. And lastly, unlimited opportunities. And because we have this unlimited volume, we can actually leverage Zembula in every single email that we send without having to worry.
I love that insight, Carly. It's all incredibly high praise, coming from you. And honestly, I couldn't have been luckier than to have you as my partner in sort of rolling out smart banners and really discovering some of the edges of the opportunity here. And, it makes sense that a team and as self-sufficient and agile as yours would value the ability to ideate, deliver, and iterate without hindrance. But I know this didn't happen by magic, and it certainly didn't happen overnight. There was a path of progression that led you to greater and greater performance. And I know we're going to go through some of those steps in greater detail here in a few moments, but from a high level, what can you share about your roadmap to success with Zembula? Where did we start? Where are we now? And sort of where might we be heading in the future?
We started out with elements of personalization that may be familiar to a lot of the people here, like first name and package tracking, to get some quick wins before we moved on to the bigger products that we knew would take longer to create, but have a really high revenue impact, like smart banners and broadcast messaging, smart banners in broadcast messaging, and also ratings and reviews in our abandonment series.
Excellent. And again, it makes good sense. Start small, prove the value impact, then expand and scale. And as I keep mentioning, it's been a lot of fun so far. We've learned quite a bit together. And as you've shown, we're really only getting started. If you would, take us back to the beginning with some of those quick wins and talk us through some of the first use cases. Let's start with package tracking. On its face, something like package tracking seems like more of a utility value and perhaps a bit less of a personalization experience. So why did you start here, and what were some of the results that you saw?
So customers inquiring about where their order is makes up a pretty good portion of our volume for our customer experience team. And our goal for implementing package tracking was to help reduce friction for our customer experience team. And we really wanted to include this package tracking block in all of our transactional emails, such as shipping notification, out for delivery, etc. And including this actually reduced our where is my order inquiries by 12%.
Wow. Again, been in email marketing a long time. I think for anyone in email, double digit lifts in performance are pretty significant. But I'd love to sort of unpack some of the context of that. What is that 12% reduction really meant for Thrive? What have been some of the impacts of just that alone?
This has impacted our ability to service the customer better. It allows our team to repurpose their time to engage with more customers and respond to other pressing questions like shade matching our CC cream or picking the right eyeliner shade for our customers. And it also helps our team resolve other issues more quickly and in a more time-effective manner.
I love that. It's clear proof to me, and I've been saying this a long time, as have a lot of others. It's every customer engagement touch point is an opportunity to deliver value and build that preference and loyalty. And again, this is Thrive living its values rather than just something it puts on its mission statement page of its website. So bravo. Excellent. So let's move now to your next use case, abandoned cart and abandoned browse. What did you see as the opportunity here, and how did you and the team approach it?
We wanted to implement ratings and reviews in our abandonment series, such as Browse, Abandon, and Cart Abandon, to help our customers make a purchase decision when they're already pretty far down that conversion funnel. They maybe just need an extra push. Maybe they aren't sure it's the right product for them, so they need more product education. And as we were initially testing this in our automations, we noticed that our customers often have multiple shades of one item or multiple of the same item in their cart. For example, as you can see on the screen, this customer has 2 of our Brilliant Eye Brighteners in their cart. And we realized that this could be a really great opportunity for us to surface new reviews for every product in a customer's cart to help them get over the hump and give them that buyer's confidence that they were looking for when they initially abandoned their cart. And we brought this to the Zembula team, and you agreed that this would be a huge selling point for customers, so you immediately began building this new functionality for us. And we're super excited about this initiative. So we're actually currently working on implementing ratings and reviews into our abandoned cart smart banners to kind of mirror this strategy, but we'll touch on that a little bit more later.
And I know I keep saying this, I'm an unabashed fanboy. This is absolutely one of the things I love most about us working together, the ability for us to learn from one another, such as the fantastic insights you gain from including these ratings and reviews in the abandoned cart banner, right? It's brilliant. Lack of product info or low buyer confidence are 2 of the biggest drivers of cart abandonment. So proactively bringing those values forward and reducing friction at that stage in the funnel, absolute no-brainer. Excellent. So, no matter the time of year, marketers can't seem to escape the holidays. So let's now go all the way back to late November and talk about your holiday campaigns. Let's set the scene here, right? It's late November. It's dark and cold here. We both live in the Pacific Northwest. And we're now at the most critical season for many retail e-commerce brands. What were some of the challenges and opportunities you saw for personalization, specifically in your Cyber Week campaigns?
For holiday, our goal was to provide the most up-to-date information for shipping cutoffs and holiday promotions. And we implemented 2 smart blocks to help us accomplish this. So first, during Black Friday and Cyber Monday weekend, we had a banner in all of our abandonment automations to resurface the promotions of the day to our customers. This automatically updated at 11:59 p.m. when our promotions updated and saved my team the hassle of having to go do it themselves every single night at 11:59 p.m. And this actually drove a 7% increase in revenue over the entire weekend, which is our biggest weekend of the year.
Excellent. And I certainly hope, would you have been the one who had to get up at 11:59 p.m. and enforce those changes otherwise?
Yes, I definitely would have done that because there's no way I would ask my team to do that.
I hate the thought of that, but I love the aspect of self-sacrifice, and I probably would expect nothing else from you, Carly. But I want to pause here for a moment. I know in our industry, numbers get kicked around pretty flippantly, but I would have to imagine that for any brand, a 7% increase in revenue during your biggest week of the year would be pretty darn significant. So amazing job by you and your team.
Yeah, thank you. And we also implemented a holiday shipping cutoff banner that we included in all broadcast messages that informed customers of when they needed to place their orders by so they could receive it in time for the holidays. And these had live dates and times in the banners that we could adjust in real time based on current delivery times. And because of the success of our operations team, we were actually able to push these out by 2 days from the 13th and 15th to the 15th and 17th to give our customers more time to purchase before the holidays. And this updated automatically across all banners and all of our emails.
So if I'm hearing this correctly, you gained 2 additional sales days during your highest volume time of year simply by having real-time access to delivery timeframes and the ability to then immediately reflect that insight to your audience.
Yeah, exactly. It's really amazing what we were able to accomplish for our customers.
I love both sides of that. Most customers were kind of concerned with aspects of things like scarcity, and I don't think the word "shipageddon" was tossed around probably too much during that time. So, anticipating that, well, let's call it what it is, that fear, that anxiety, and being able to shine some transparency on truth, I think was an awesome brand value for you to deliver on, not just something to enable the campaign and facilitate more transactions. So again, bravo. So, as impressive as some of the results you shared with us are, I understand that for Thrive, the really meaningful lift, the consistent and sustainable performance improvements, those really came when you implemented smart banners. So I'd love if you would, could you talk us through what a smart banner means to you and the team at Thrive?
For us, smart banners are a way to easily personalize every single broadcast message for every single one of our customers. And we took our highest performing calls to action in our program to give them further life in our broadcast messages. The smart banner that is surfaced is dependent on where the customer is in their journey. So our highest priority messages for customers are, of course, package tracking and their order status like we talked about previously. We also have a happy birthday message that gives customers $10 off to celebrate with us. The welcome offer, so if they haven't made a purchase yet, just resurfacing that discount for them to help encourage them make that first purchase. Abandoned cart and abandoned browse, and then it defaults to loyalty. So if you're a member, how many points you have to spend and how much money does that equate to? And for non-members, sign up for an account and receive 100 points.
So I love this sort of value ecosystem that you've put in here as an aspect of personalization, right? We're getting beyond things like first name and product recommendations. And as you mentioned, really identifying what each individual needs at each stage of the journey and then kind of serving that up. And it would make sense to try this, right? I mean, a lot of, brand marketers out there are pretty innovative, as you are yourself. But I also know there's this common characteristic trait of risk averseness, this conservatism that, kind of is a known tag for a lot of retail e-commerce marketers out there. Heck, there was a time when I thought maybe only Lloyd's of London was more risk averse than your average e-commerce marketer out there. So talk to us about maybe what led you to take the risk of using them in every email and how it's impacted your promotional program.
At first, we definitely were hesitant to include them in every single email, especially our promotional and launch emails. And while it is a pretty small graphic, it is taking a valuable content space above the fold and pushing that main email content down. However, we had previously tried to accomplish this on our own by segmenting out these audiences to send them different email creative. And this was a ton of time for the email team to set up and our design team to create. And while these were successful campaigns, it wasn't worth the time and effort that we were putting in. We knew that in some email campaigns this would be successful, but we didn't know how successful until we tested it. And once we saw those results, we knew that they were driving enough value to start including those in every single email.
It's a really interesting point. I mean, we often focus on, sort of what we're doing rather than necessarily what we'll get out of it. So I love that, you recognize, hey, this is something we can do for ourselves, but at the end of the day, the amount of effort required to drive this one thing kind of puts us upside down in a value proposition. So that's a really interesting perspective. Here we're taking a look at some of the other smart banners that you kind of started with when we were first getting up and running with smart banners. So browse abandonment, cart abandonment, loyalty, shipment tracking. I'd love to hear why you chose these banners specifically. We talked about shipment tracking a few slides ago, so maybe we could start with cart and browse abandonment. Would you be kind enough to talk us through those?
When you think about browse and cart abandonment, those are automations that most programs already have built out. And those messages are easy for customers to filter out and delete when they're scrolling through their inbox. But these customers that abandon have such high purchase intent, and we really wanted to resurface those products that they thought about but didn't purchase yet in a new way. Combining these abandonment smart banners with our broadcast messaging does just that and gives them more information to make that purchase. For example, we have a really cool feature on our website that allows you to build your own set and you get 10% off and free shipping. And as you can see in the example on this slide, the broadcast message is advertising this feature. Now, as a customer, let's say you recently added mascara to your cart and then abandoned it. But now you see this cool feature to build your own set with whatever products you want, and you can include that mascara you'd abandoned in the set and get that 10% off discount and free shipping. It's giving those abandonment messages a new life.
The strategist in me just can't help but geek out over this. I absolutely love the example that you just shared, because again, we're not just forcing a transaction by showing something that they left behind, but we're contextualizing the value for them and making it seem not just more easily attainable, but more valuable by making it part of a larger package, right? So I absolutely love that. It makes good sense that you would start with these. The truth is, most of our retail e-commerce clients choose to start with many of those same use cases, given that they drive such meaningful performance in their own dedicated messages. But those dedicated messages, as we've talked, between us, usually comprise less than like 15% of your total message volume. So giving them that greater visibility and that lifespan on the second stage there with smart banners should, naturally result in greater performance. But speaking of performance, what can you share about the impact of smart banners on program revenue and maybe any other sort of customer engagement KPIs?
When we initially tested this, we saw a 10% to 17% increase in revenue across every single email. This is a huge lift considering we send emails every single day. And we also saw open rate increase across the board, factoring out the impact of iOS 15.
Excellent. So 10 to 17% lift just in every email that you're including smart banners now.
Yes.
Incredible. I would say it's unbelievable, but the truth is that, it aligns with some of the results our other customers are experiencing. And not just in areas like program performance and revenue, or in revenue, but, including lifts in other areas, customer engagement metrics like opens, clicks, conversion frequency. We're seeing folks buy more frequently by, the contextualization of value here. And additionally, average order values we see go up. Retention is increasing, unsubs are decreasing, site visits are going up. We're also seeing greater enrollment and participation in expansion programs such as SMS, loyalty, socials programs, or even referrals. And all of these things we're seeing lead to just a more important increase in lifetime customer value. But I have to ask you, because I get this question a lot, right? The lift that you've attributed to smart banners, is this true additional incremental lift, or are we maybe borrowing performance from the rest of the email or the rest of the program? Are we robbing Peter to pay Paul here? Are we shifting numbers around?
Yeah, not at all. We haven't seen a decline in any of the automations that we have smart banners created for since we implemented them. We really like to think of them as complementary to our automations program.
Excellent. I'd love the chance to kind of dig in that a little bit later, maybe in the Q&A, because it does seem pretty significant, right? But what have the increased numbers really meant to you and your team at Thrive? Like, goal attainment's always great, but what have been some of the impacts for you and your team personally?
Yeah, well, of course, increase in revenue for our program, can't deny that, and more personalization in every single email without having to use more resources. So my email team and the design team can spend their time working through other segmentations and campaigns. And with some other providers, it's a pretty high level of effort for something that will only live in one campaign. Whereas for this, the level of effort for my team was pretty minimal and had a really high return on investment.
Yeah, I agree. It's that sort of repeatability, that reusability of smart banners. I think that's really one of the other values we don't talk a lot about, right? So the performance is one, but what it takes to actually get that performance is incredibly minimal. And I'm really glad you mentioned that last point, that level of effort. We tend to focus on revenue and campaign performance, but we shouldn't undervalue the importance of marketers just being happy in their work. I've been in this industry for over 20 years and have yet to meet anyone who got an email because they absolutely love the dirty mechanics of campaign production. But hey, if you are out there, definitely reach out, connect with me on LinkedIn. I have so many questions for you, but for now, let's move on. Carly, the numbers you shared, again, I'd say they're unbelievable. So much solution hype, but again, we see it prove itself over and over again with other customers and other brands as well. And you and I are just getting started, right? You were kind enough to give us a peek into your roadmap a bit earlier, a few slides ago. Can we talk a bit about some of your future plans for smart banners? We're seeing some of these things here.
Yeah, we're currently working on 2 new smart banner projects. So the first is just more creative variations for all of the smart banners that we currently have live, so customers don't get fatigued if they're constantly seeing those. And Garen actually gave us some really cool ideas for some of the creatives while we were brainstorming that I'm super excited about. One of them being new abandoned cart and abandoned browse creative. So one version will cycle through a review from a customer about the product they abandoned. And then the next version shows how many loyalty points that they have that they can put towards the product that they abandoned. And second, we're working on upsell, cross-sell, and replenishment banners for our top performing products.
Yeah, I love the versions that we're working on for the abandoned banners, right? I love your idea about cycling through those customer reviews. That's really important. It's not just one proof point, but showing the weight of community consensus about the great qualities of this particular product, right? And then the loyalty points as well. We're now telling a story. We're not just sort of trying to force a transaction. You left this behind, come buy it. It's here's what you left behind. Things like ratings, reviews say, here's why you shouldn't have and why other people love it. And then the application of those loyalty points are, and here's how you can get it at the lowest cost possible. So we're kind of facilitating the ability of attainment while telling a very compelling story at the same time. Absolutely brilliant work. So really appreciate you sharing that with us as we're discovering the possibilities of smart banners are seemingly endless. And I'm really looking forward to continue to explore kind of the edges of that with you and the team at Thrive. As we've covered, even a very small pool of 6 to 8 banners can help brands easily diversify message content, especially in more broad scale sense, such as promotional mailings. Smart banners also empower marketers to leverage personalization more effectively, again, with every touch, keeping pace with the customer expectation of personalized experience. And most importantly, we can do this frequently by programmatically selecting and personalized content for each individual in real time, the moment that message is opened or reopened. Carly, I'd love if you wouldn't mind kind of chatting us through the last 2 points here, since I know you really own these and kind of discovered them yourself.
Yeah, so smart banners also help brands stand out with a better personalized experience for customers in their email program. And of course, increases revenue across all of your email sends.
Excellent. Cheyenne, I think you had a poll question for us.
Yeah, we just created and published a book, and we would love to send you a copy if you're interested. It's the Smart Banner Playbook, and we have a nice digital copy that we could send you. It's going to teach you everything you would ever want to know about smart banners.
Yeah, definitely take advantage of this. There's some QR codes in there. They're not just for 2015 anymore, folks. There's some great QR codes in there that will bring some live animated examples to your device as well. So certainly take advantage of that. Now, I know we've covered a lot, and I know there are a lot of folks anxious to more about Thrive's program and the success they've seen. Jen Capstra, I'm humbled and proud to have you in the audience. My one-time colleague, and hopefully proud enough to call you friend. I'd be disappointed not to get questions from you today. But before we get to that, I'd like to invite you all to watch any of our past webinars you may have missed. You'll find them all on the Zembula website, along with some other great resources, such as our blog and case studies, and you definitely want to check those out. All right, I've seen a number of questions come in already. Cheyenne, what does the audience have for us, or probably for Carly?
Yeah, a quick one here. Were the holiday banners in campaign messages or flow emails, Carly?
Just realized I was on mute. Yeah, so they were on, those banners were actually just in flow automations. We had separate emails that were going out every day as broadcast messages. So we just wanted to continue to resurface those promotional messages for customers, no matter where they were in their journey.
Excuse me. All right. And this is again for Carly. How did you determine that your package tracking email was the best message type to start with?
Yeah, so as I mentioned previously, our customer is really our biggest priority at Thrive Causemetics, and we knew that knowing where their package was a pain point for our customers because of the volume of requests that we receive. So we knew that implementing this would easily benefit our customers and our customer experience team with a pretty small amount of effort. And it's so cool that they can see, like right in the email, that their order is on its way and even what city and what time it was last scanned in.
Awesome. Okay. Can you share any issues or lessons regarding integrations needed to power smart banners? Obviously, Thrive, you had to use several third-party data inputs from your package tracking, delivery, shopping cart tools, review solution, etc.
Yeah, this is my favorite question. So from my perspective, it was super easy. All I had to do was compile a list of all of our API keys for those integrations. And for package tracking, just let Zembula know what carriers we use. And that was it. They took care of building out all of those connections for us. So it took maybe 5-10 minutes of my time.
And kind of to piggyback off that, another setup question. You mentioned that the setup for smart banners was pretty easy and saved you time. How much ongoing maintenance or updates do you have to input into the smart banner system?
Yeah, it's pretty minimal maintenance for us. So the banner itself is just a block that includes that line of code in our template builder, and then my team just copies it over whenever they create a new campaign. So in terms of maintenance, there's not really much. And we implemented these initially about 5 months ago. We're just now starting on the round 2 with the more variations and more types of content like the upsell and replenishment. So yeah, I would say pretty minimal effort.
Awesome. And then what is your typical frequency for Thrive's promotional email program? And has adding smart banners changed your thinking on frequency, whether sending more or less often?
Yeah, we typically send about an email per day, and it hasn't impacted our frequency or how much we send because it's really just adding to our promotional emails. And there are so many variants of the smart banner that a customer could receive that we don't feel like it's taking away from our promotional emails or our automations.
Cool. And then I think it was mentioned that Carly has a pretty small team. Can you share the different roles of the team involved in deploying smart banners, both to get it up and running and now on an ongoing campaign production perspective?
Yeah. For initial setup, we had one of our internal designers make all of the creative, and then we provided our colors, fonts, and assets to Zembula, and they took care of the rest. So they just came back to us with the line of code that we copy into our templates, and it's super easy. I think the most time-consuming part for me and my team was just testing to make sure that the smart banners were functioning properly, and that didn't really take very long at all.
Great. And our last question here, Garen mentioned that smart banners are not robbing Peter to pay Paul, meaning they haven't reduced the performance of your triggered messages.
Yeah, definitely. I think that it's really adding to the customer experience overall to keep these products that were abandoned or maybe points that they have to spend top of mind for customers. Maybe someone doesn't click on the first cart abandonment email, but then a smart banner and a promotional message keeps it top of mind, like that mascara that they abandoned we were talking about earlier. And then the next day, they convert when they receive the second dedicated cart abandonment email.
All right, I think that's everything.
Actually, Cheyenne, we have one more in the Q&A. I'd like to get to
see.
We have another moment here.
Yeah, one came in at the last minute here. For the Browse and Cart Abandonment banners, is the banner a single creative with dynamic elements, an example, product image, or is it a bank of creatives?
Yeah, so that is actually just a single creative with the dynamic element. So how we designed that was we just left an empty box that was where the dynamic content would pull in. So for us, the product page image, and yeah, Zembula's code and engine does the rest.
But to continue answering that question, the answer is actually both. It is a single banner with dynamic elements, but very soon, as Carly kind of shared with the roadmap, it's also going to be a bank of different creatives as well, serving cart abandonment. So folks might get the treatment they're getting now. If the data shows that they've received that iteration, they might receive one of the others showing the ratings and review stars rotating, or showing the end cost of the item after the application of available loyalty points. So the true answer is we can do both.
Right. All right. I think that's everything.
Perfect. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. We certainly appreciate your time and attention today. As Cheyenne mentioned, this is an ongoing monthly series, usually held on the third Thursday of every month. So next month, please join us on April 21st at 10 a.m. Pacific time for another discussion, this case on smart banners. In this instance, we'll be digging a lot deeper into the life of your abandoned cart messaging. So we'll be covering aspects such as how to create more compelling abandoned cart messaging through telling a value-based story, how to repurpose that same messaging for outside of its dedicated mailing or message and using that in promotionals and other areas. And then lastly, how to expand the visibility of some of your most converting content. Again, taking your top performing CTAs and getting them into 100% of the email volume. So we hope to see you sometime in April.
All right. I'd like to thank Carly and Garen for a great presentation today and discussion. I hope all of you found it valuable and are excited about the opportunity to leverage smart banners to increase the relevance of the revenue from your promotional and triggered messages. Just a reminder, in a few days, I'll send you an email with a link and a PDF of the slides so you can reference this or share it with anyone you'd like. Please visit Zembula.com for more information and resources, including white papers and our blog. And thanks again to all of you, and we hope to see you again on April 21st for how to extend abandoned cart messaging to every email you send. All right, have a great day, everyone.